Once
You good. What up, chat? Started the live. Welcome to another episode of Open Field. I'm here with Riddell and Michael. First, let me just throw the link in the chat. You already know the vibes, man. It's Open Field, so if you want to come up here, you want to talk your smack, this is definitely the perfect time for you to come over here, push an agenda, settle a beef. This is not like press box. You could definitely talk about whatever you want up here today. So if you want to make a debut, make sure I hit that link. I'll send multiple throughout the chat, and we'll see who comes to hang out throughout the day. With that being said, I want to shout out our GOAT members. Shout out to Comatose, Cobra Son of Matt Raditz, and Segmet. And last but certainly not least, want to make sure we get everybody excited for the holidays. The Deck the Halls matchup, Ticket versus Chilltown, December 23rd. Gonna be legendary. Dub versus Mars, December 23rd. Big time matchups. Can't wait to see the results of that. But with that being said, let's get into it. I'll start with the title of the show because a clip surfaced of Aaron Rodgers throwing the football at Jets practice. I personally have a PT. So with that, I go, obviously, why would I have a PT? I don't play sports anymore. Well, got to keep the body still a temple, got to maintain order with the body. So, I went to go see my PT today, had a conversation with him about, Aaron Rodgers, his injury, the procedure they did. So clearly, obviously, they did a different procedure compared to how most Achilles injuries are dealt with the hopes that he can come back sooner rather than later. If those who don't know about an Achilles, the one issue about an Achilles is that it's sensitive and it's like a rubber band. So, if you overly stretch a rubber band, it doesn't, the elastic of it goes away. That's kind of the same idea with the Achilles. You wear at it for too long, it becomes like a floppy rubber band and it won't get back to its shape. So that's why it's tricky when you injure it, making sure you are very diligent in the recovery process because of how the Achilles heals. My issue is I personally don't know if it's worth it for him to be practicing, and I don't understand if this 21-day window is worth the potential non-contact fluke injury, because the fact that he even got hurt in general was a fluke injury. You know what I'm saying? 4 seconds into a game. I mean, we even saw the tackle wasn't even much where you looked at the tackle and be like, oh, how, you weren't expecting the popped Achilles, but that's how an Achilles works. I mean, if anybody watched Jaden Phillips of the Dolphins, God bless him and his recovery, he was just running off the line. There was no, there was no contact that was made to him to force that injury. It just kind of goes. So I just don't know if this is worth not only the story, but worth even going.
No, I'll be honest. I don't think it's worth it as well. And I'm just guessing. I have no idea.
Right.
But I'm guessing he used some type of procedure that in the short run, it would be beneficial, but in the long run, it won't. So it's kind of people take shortcuts knowing that, okay, this is a momentary situation of, it's kind of like adrenaline. So momentary satisfaction, but long-term, it's going to have dire effects. I'm guessing when usually people do have Achilles injury, like I said, only guessing, usually when people have Achilles injury, they do a procedure to keep playing football for the long term.
Right.
But Aaron Rodgers knows he doesn't have to do that. He's like, 36, 37? Like, he knows he's going to be in the league for maybe 3 years max.
40 this year. I think he turns 40 this year.
Oh, even
if he stays healthy.
I'll tell you right now. Keep going.
Look. Here's my thing.
So I'm going to wrap it up. So my thing is
December 2nd.
He's old as hell. He knows this. He just has to play maybe one more season, and that's it. So that's what I'm guessing. This is. But I mean, he can. I doubt it's strong enough to hold him.
No way. And I was going to say this before, but I think that me and Riddell have pretty much the same viewpoint on this point. And I'm going to take it away from what you were talking about with the injury itself, because I personally don't really know about the surgery enough to say anything on it. But to me, look at a guy like Klay Thompson in basketball. He had Achilles injury and an ACL injury. Totally destroyed the back end of his prime. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, why would I take a step on the field when the Jets are as Riddell said yesterday, the second worst team in seeding right now in the AFC? And besides the fact, for me, if I'm Aaron Rodgers and I stay healthy for 2 seasons, I think I can get to 3. So why am I going to come in here and risk another injury? Because now if he gets a shoulder injury, if he gets any other injury this year, even next year, now that changes the conversation as him as a player because he's 36, 37. He's not the same guy he was back when we knew Aaron Rodgers on the Packers. Now, he still has the ability to lead you guys to somewhere very good because of the weapons that you have with Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, which is why I think as a Jets fan, obviously this season is the repetitive of the same things over and over again. But when I look at the Jets in the last 20 years, they've never really had 2 weapons with this much potential this young. They've had guys like B. Marsh. They've had guys like that, LaDainian Thompson on the back end, but just with as much potential, to me, I'm just getting acclimated to the Jets as a whole, understanding the players, as much as he's doing right now watching the film. And just that to me is fine. When we're pushing about playing for Aaron, that's when I struggle. And it's like he would do that because he always has the mindset to go farther, to push the limits. And that's what I feel like he needs to relax on a little bit.
Yeah, I just feel like ultimately you see the problem is like with the Jets as a whole, fellas, like Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh right now are holding on for dear life. Believe it or not.
So they're pushing everything out,
Yeah, like right now, I'll be honest, fellas, if Aaron Rodgers didn't have another year, let's just say this was Aaron Rodgers last year on his Jets contract, like after this season, Achilles, he'd be a free agent. I'd be pretty confident to say that they're firing Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh at season's end. One, because of the debacle. And this is crazy. And this is why I always say, like, the quarterback is so important because Joe Douglas has done a great job with Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Quentin Williams. He's made a lot of great draft picks over the years, but the one position he has not hit on was quarterback. But the problem is quarterback is it's literally your team. Your quarterback will make or break you. Good defense, good receivers, bad quarterback play is everything in this league because you can't score, you can't win. Because of that, if Aaron Rodgers wasn't coming around right now to play another season, I think they would both be out of a job because of how poorly they did the Zach Wilson thing. And honestly, I hear people when they say Zach Wilson was groomed to fail, but in my personal opinion, in my most humblest opinion, I don't think Zach Wilson was ever a franchise level quarterback.
No, that's
picking the draft.
Absolutely not. That's total Jets cope to say that. This guy literally played.
It's literally all
rookie year. His rookie year, he had the worst start to his career off of like considerably bad. I'm not saying the worst, but like considerably bad. Like he's in the conversation for that. So like he's shown you nothing. And this is what I'll say about Robert Saleh. I do agree. Just not the dysfunction because Aaron Rodgers got injured because that's like not necessarily on him. He can't control that. But like just if you're a defensive coach in the NFL, you have to find somebody that is going to be able to groom your players and to develop an identity on offense. It is too much of a risk to come in without your offense figured out. Even if you don't have an elite quarterback, even if you have an okay quarterback, you have to have a coach like a Ben Johnson with Dan Campbell. That's why that works. And Dan Campbell's an ex-player. So he saw Ben Johnson and he was like, okay, this guy has something here. And if you can't figure that out, that's a problem. Now, if Robert Saleh finds somebody, then I think that changes the conversation as him as a coach because we've seen him coach good defensive talent. My problem was with Robert Saleh. I don't personally think he's at that level yet. I think he's too young as a coach to really know that because I feel like if he knew it, it would have happened already.
Yeah, but Robert Saleh too stubborn. He too stubborn, and that's my issue. And like I understand, and I tweeted out, I felt like the Jets front office got Robert Saleh's arm tied behind his back, but he's also the head coach, and you have some level of veto power. And so my thing is like, for Robert Saleh to really have been confident in Zach Wilson to start as many games as he started for the Jets this season, not only was there a level of incompetence there, I think it's shown a level of hubris, pride. Like this is some of your pride, some of y'all pride in that front office. Like, I don't care how you feel about Cam Newton. He's a better quarterback and would have been a better fit for us than Zach Wilson this year.
Carson I feel like he would have led you to more game. Like he would have played better situational football
without question. Carson Wentz.
Now I'm not trying to big up Cam because Cam at this point has limits, but I do think that some team should have given a shot in the past couple of years.
Cam is better than Desmond. Cam Newton is better than Desmond Ritter. He's better than Desmond Ritter.
The problem
no,
is
he's definitely good. It's more of a politics thing.
It's a politics thing, yes.
All politics.
No, because
you do what the Vikings did and get how they went to go get Joshua Dobbs immediately after Kirk Cousins went down.
Right. Go get somebody immediately.
I will push back a little bit with the Robert Saleh thing. And the only reason why, when Zach Wilson was drafted, the only reason why is at that time he was still unproven. Like nobody knew.
No, I agree with that.
Robert Saleh was, and it like people. Some people were weirdly saying that he like last year, he's on the hot seat, and then they just started winning games with Zach Wilson. It was like, oh damn, maybe he's actually a good coach. The defense started being incredible. It's like maybe he's a good coach. So he was just in that. I feel like he was just in a situation where he's the new guy. Nobody cares what he's saying, so you just gotta say yes, sir, and shake his head up and down.
Right.
I think that's probably.
That's what I
think it was, honestly.
It might be the Rex Ryan effect, too. Remember, when Rex had them defenses, they were so dominant, he thought he could just put anybody there. So he spent 3 or 4 years with Mark Sanchez, and they really wasted some good teams, man. Like, that Jets team was better than the Patriot teams a lot of times. And it was always
– you just never had the quarterback.
It always came down to Mark Sanchez not getting it done and losing.
Okay, here's my thing. Here's my thing about that early. Facts. What you said is 100% right. But when I look at the Jets front office as a whole, I don't necessarily think they gave Rex really anything much out. They said, look, this is who you're going to get. If you want to make a defensive team, this is a quarterback you're getting. And to say that too, I wanted to bring up a point about Cam. The whole reason why Cam Newton didn't get another job after New England is because every GM thinks that, if we bring in this guy, then all the questions are going to be about who's starting. I think that stuff is so ridiculous when we're talking about Cam Newton because look at a guy like Mac Jones. The entire season, the entire conversation is which guy's starting. In the NFL, if you're not playing good as a quarterback, that's always a conversation. So to me, I just think it's ridiculous how politics have kind of affected certain front offices and in certain players. A guy like Colin Kaepernick, I personally don't think he was necessarily that good when he got out because he just had so many limitations in his speed and his agility was just slowly declining. And I think that was a big reason why no team wanted to pick him up as much as the other stuff had to come to effect. But I think Cam Newton not even being a backup the past couple of years is a disservice.
I don't necessarily agree. I understand not bringing in Cam Newton, not bringing in RG3, not bringing in Colin Kaepernick.
Why do you understand? But why do you understand that? I don't understand.
I don't either.
When it's a situation where you have no quarterback, then no, I don't understand it. But when it's a situation where there's a young quarterback, then I do understand it. You want that young quarterback because we all understand when it comes to sports, a lot of it is mental game. Confidence, being sure of yourself, and getting constant news and pressure saying, oh, this guy, you mess up, he's about to take your spot because he's proven. He's a star. He's already that guy. And we see it right now with Mac Jones. Like, Bill Belichick screwed him. Like, he's not that good, but Bill Belichick didn't make it any better.
Bill Belichick screwed Cam.
No, he screwed him, yeah.
Yeah, like, Cam too. Belichick does this weird thing where he's like, Joe, just stick with your quarterback. Just put confidence in your quarterback. He just does these weird things with Matt Jones and even Cam when he initially came, because I think Cam sat at that season, right? He didn't play the full season.
Cam had COVID.
Cam got COVID mid-year after playing well. Go ahead, Early. Go ahead, because you just got here. You go ahead, bro.
Yeah, he got COVID after playing well, and what happened was they sat him, and COVID was one of them funny things to where like normally if you're sitting a quarterback, it's because he was playing bad or he's injured. So, and quarterback is one of the things that once I get rolling, I got to stay rolling. I can't go sit down somewhere and be cold and come back. It's the real reason why a lot of like Michael Vick and LamarJackson, they get them hard times because you knew that Michael Vick was going to miss 3 to 4 games every season, regardless. I don't care how great he was going to be. He was going to miss 3 or 4 games because he just didn't slide well. So, what the COVID situation was, you're out 2 or 3 weeks with COVID. Now, with Bill Belichick, it's like we already don't really want you. And that's the thing about that was they didn't really want Cam. Cam was just because we had to replace Tom Brady, such a big face, and we couldn't just put anybody here. So what we do?
Yeah, they took a cheap option.
People know, fill some sheets out, right? But Bill never wanted Cam. Same reason they got rid of Cunningham.
Facts.
Like, it's no reason right now they could be having Cunningham from Louisville play right now. The season's over with. Let's see what this young rookie got. Let's see what he got.
Early
but
facts.
Bill, I'm not saying he's racist. But it's just that Bill had a certain style of a quarterback he wants.
Before you go, Michael, I want to say something early.
Yeah, go.
I think ultimately, and then Manny, you go before Michael because Manny ain't saying nothing yet either. My only issue with the Cam thing is I blame Bill for Cam's downfall in the NFL because Cam was already getting the Carmelo blackball.
Bad.
From it, already getting the Carmelo Anthony blackball.
It was worse though.
It was definitely worse because it was like no matter everything he did was under a microscope. Everybody has a problem with Cam because he's overly confident, and that's a conversation. That's a whole nother conversation if we want to get into that. But
yeah, we could get into a rabbit hole.
We get rabbit. But it's the overzealousness by Cam, the outfits apparently. Those are the things that I think people care more about than actually if he was able to play the position well. I think when he got to the Patriots, if anybody really remember, they started off pretty damn well under Cam Newton. Yeah, if anybody remembers that game in Seattle, they were a quarterback power away. And I think if Cam
that's all it was, Jay.
Yeah, one play.
It was just QB power.
It was just QB power. It's one quarterback power. I think if he scores a touchdown, I think it's crazy how one play in football could change the trajectory of a career, I think, in terms of like where they are now. I think Cam will still be in the league. They win that game in Seattle for some stranger. It just felt like it was such a big deal that he didn't get that. But the reason why, and this is why I kind of sometimes can't stand Bill Belichick, is because Bill Belichick clearly is not a good curator of talent. And what I mean by that is there's no way you went to camp and thought Mac Jones was a better option than Cam Newton based on what I'm seeing from Mac Jones now as a quarterback. And I don't think offensively as a
wanted
rookie,
Cam. I mean, he wanted Mac all along.
No, he wanted Mac. And that's what I was about to say. I think his unconscious
I wanted to get the rookie here anyway.
Right. I was about to say, I think his unconscious bias to Mac Jones played a bit of a role because all I'm going to say is, when you go to a practice into a game, I don't think there's nothing Mac Jones could have did in practice that looked astronomically better than Cam Newton, where it goes, I'm going to start this guy instead of Cam. I'm sorry.
Manny, that's what I've seen. That point after. I want to add to that point.
At that point, it's more like, okay, this is our rookie.
Yeah.
We got to start building him now. It's time to start.
But what was the initial question? I came in, y'all was talking about Cam. What was the?
It was Rodgers.
No, we were talking about Rodgers, and I was talking about how like if Aaron Rodgers is literally pumping life into Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh at this point in their careers as working for the Jets, because if Aaron Rodgers was going to be a free agent next year or this season after the Achilles, he was done, they'd probably be fired.
I think Robert Saleh. I think Joey.
I think Joe Douglas would be out the door immediately because
he drafted those
because of the Zach, but it's the Zach Wilson. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. No. Hold on, Manny.
Quarterback matters more though.
Hold on, Manny. Answer my question. Answer this question for me, Manny. Tell me the Jets fan that says Joe Douglas is a phenomenal GM because he drafted Sauce and all them other guys.
Bryce and Garrett Wilson. I mean, that's pretty damn good to get them all in the same draft. And Jermaine Johnson.
My question is,
drafting the quarterbacks a different
are Jets fans?
No, they're mad because they didn't go get a quarterback.
And exactly, and why is the quarterback thing matter more than them other players we're talking about? Why does the quarterback?
We're not going to win.
And why aren't we going to win?
Because
quarterback is the most important position in football. And you know what makes it worse, Manny? We had the second overall pick.
And they know they don't.
We had the second overall pick, and on top of that, not only do we have the second overall pick, there have been multiple other traded. No, we didn't trade up.
No, they didn't trade up.
Remember, we beat the Rams. We're on pace to get Trevor Lawrence. We were going to get Trevor Lawrence, and then we beat the Rams at like the 11th hour of the year. I think it was like the second.
Imagine if y'all had Trevor,
and it ruined everything. So
Y'all would have a
I
dynasty.
I
right
want
now,
y'all to do
bro.
this. Hey, but
Chill,
J-Rod, I
chill.
want
I
y'all
don't
to
know
do this.
that. Yeah, I don't
No,
know that.
not really a dynasty. Not
Dynasty
really a
is
dynasty. But y'all would be one of the
Nah,
best.
but with
better.
that young talent, it's the
NFL.
young
Way
talent.
better.
It's
We'll
all
be way
the
better.
You go back.
It'll be way
Listen,
better.
when you go back and look at that draft, right? And they brought all them quarterbacks out because they were actually invited to New York. Go back and look at that draft. I promise you, I watched his face. Mac Young looked like I'm not Mac Young, but Zach Wilson looked like he did not belong. I want y'all to go back and watch that draft. I remember him walking out, and he looked like somebody that didn't belong. Like he had this look on his face, like I'm not supposed to be here.
I saw that. Yeah. I remember that early. I want to add to that point.
His brother's gonna be better than him, but we.
I want to bring back.
His brother is gonna be
I'm
better.
not gonna lie, his brother's nice.
I promise y'all to go back and look at his face. He looks terrified. Like, oh my God.
But I go early. His little
You know
brother.
where he got drafted to though? He got drafted to a place where you need nuts. And if you don't have nuts,
Yeah, that's the problem. You can't have a backbone if you want to be a Jets quarterback, bro. You can't. And shout out to Adoree Jackson. You know, me and Trent interviewed Adoree Jackson yesterday. If you play in New York City, turn that media off.
That's why Eli fits so well. He had no emotion.
Eli does not care what nobody.
Why you think Jalen Hurts been able to be the Eagles quarterback? Because he's even all times, bro.
J-Rob,
can't get too low because you gotta have that mentality. You gotta turn that shit off, bro. You gotta turn all of that.
Matter. I throw an interception, it don't matter. We still
you gotta turn it off because you won't be able to survive in those markets if you can't. Go ahead, Michael. My bad.
Let me just say one thing. When we talk about quarterbacks like Zach Wilson, was talking about earlier, and Mac Jones. When I see, especially Mac Jones, I wanted to say this on the show. When I see Mac Jones, rookie year, yes, he was decent. Okay, he had the same struggles he's had in the next 2 years and now, or whatever. But when I look at Mac Jones, the ability to, number one, not feel any pressure out there, regardless of being unathletic, all of that. This dude cannot progress through the pocket whatsoever. If there's anything in his face, he's literally either in, I'm about to just try to throw this away, or like just throw it to somebody like that's not open and he's gonna get picked, or he's just gonna go on full run.
I'm gonna be honest.
I've yet to see
serviceable,
which is also Bryce Young.
He's not
which is also Bryce Young. He does the same thing.
I'm not gonna lie to you, but like,
this is what
can we stop using certain words, fellas? We gotta get some of these words. What does serviceable mean? Serviceable means he's average as hell, man. He can get you maybe one or a few games. He's not doing nothing for you. I gotta understand. Serviceable only means he can come in if the starter goes down and finish a game. I don't disagree with that, but he's not a good quarterback either, bro. Because when he was under Bill O'Brien, and I think with the staff the offensive staff that he got now, is better than the year with Joe Judge and Matt Patricia. But the first year and this year now, bro. I'm sorry, I understand there's way more confident play calling with him now than there's been. He's not good, bro.
Wait,
Manny.
He's cooked, bro.
Manny. Slow down on Mac Jones. When I look at Mac Jones as a quarterback, okay, not only when we're talking about who he can be as a player, as somebody that could lead you to a Super Bowl, not saying that he will, but if we were to consider who he would be somebody like a Drew Brees or a Tom Brady that just takes what defense gives him, takes the shots when it's necessary. It's just a field general with the play. And when I look at Mac Jones right now,
he can't be like
take out Manny, take out the pocket presence, take out everything like that. I'm seeing him deficient in things that he shouldn't be. He's deficient.
Can he be like a Jimmy G?
No. Is Jimmy G good?
Jimmy G sucks too. They're the wait, Manny, stop with the.
He does suck. No, Jimmy G sucks. No,
he went to a bowl. He went to a bowl, and one of them football games he threw. In one of them games he threw 7 passes, bro. Please stop, Manny.
Wait, Manny.
Serviceable doesn't get it done, bro.
Check out merchants ain't getting it done, bro.
Stop saying that.
Wait, let me finish my point here. Is that we can knock the Patriots for the fact that they don't have any weapons, but. Look at what Trent says. When Trent sees a player that's bad in a bad situation, if you're just terribly bad in a bad situation, and you don't get an excuse if you show no signs, it doesn't matter, because this is the thing. Even though they have no weapons, look at the Patriots' offensive line, and look at the 2 running backs that they have. When I look at the game they lost against the Giants, those guys both have 4 yards to carry. Rodgers Stevenson had 21 carries. Zeke had 14 carries, and Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi both completely choked with a running game that was decent that game. And so all I'm saying to you is when I look at Mac Jones, when I look at a quarterback, you need to be able to extend plays and throw downfield. And Mac Jones has no ability to feel pressure, look up, and make a throw. It's only I'm going to throw the ball, or it's I see a hole and I'm going to go run. There's no nuance within his game, and he's so unathletic. Then how are you going to sit there and say that he could be a good quarterback in the NFL? He hasn't shown anything. Even on the Niners, you see Brock Purdy looking a little tough. Imagine if Mac Jones is in there for those games. That dude would be getting exposed in the same way, and it'd be way worse. I'm telling you.
For me, when it comes to quarterbacks, right? If you don't have the athletic ability, if you don't have the crazy arm talent, what you need to have is you need to have it up here. That's all you got right there. You got to have it up here. If up here is shot, you're cooked. You're cooked. That is like there's no reason to bank on Mac Jones if up here his supposed greatest talent, because people were saying things like, hey man, this might be our next Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? He's a smart football player, all that good stuff, right?
It's because he's white.
No, it's because he had the Heisman Trophy winner, and he had great weapons.
He had the Heisman Trophy winner.
Alabama. Did you see him?
Man, what are you talking? What did he say?
No, he said they said they're going to be the next Tom Brady. Nobody thought he was for real.
Dude, it's because
not Tom Brady.
Who thought who was going to be the next Tom Brady?
No. Let's be clear. Not Tom Brady's
said that,
greatness. But in terms of play style, that's what they wanted, Mac.
Nah, bro.
Joe Burrow, the next Tom Brady play style.
Take what the defense given to you and use your brain. It's just Mac Jones as of right now. He doesn't have the talent. He doesn't have the athletic ability. And now his mentality is shot. He's cooked. Like that's just it is what it is. Cooked.
Because my thing that I was saying right there was to people who thought that Mac Jones was going to be good. And I'm not saying that I knew he was going to be a bust straight out the gate, but like my dad used to preach to me. He used to watch those Bama games and be like, "Oh, Mac Jones is good. Oh, he's going to Bill." And I was like, "Dad, he's got the Heisman Trophy winner as his number one receiver, a great team overall, and every single throw he's making down the field for 40 yards. I see Devontae Smith 10 yards past the cornerback. That stuff is literally any quarterback that gets drafted within round 3 could do. Like I'm not saying that he wasn't a great quarterback for that team, but like when you talk about the NFL, you're not going to be able to have those weapons like in that sort of context against those players. If we're talking about the best of the best here, and we've seen time after time, Mac Jones with any pressure and things aren't working out, he gets toast. And not only that, when we're talking about the passes that he even completes in the Colts game specifically, I'm seeing him throw like a 6-yard like button hook to some guy, and it's not like I'm talking about a cornerback that's out on the boundary to the outside is coming in, and he's not making a throw to where the receiver can run and catch and try to get off of his guy. He's throwing it inaccurately, floppy balls that aren't like NFL balls at all, even in the short game. As a quarterback, that's supposed to be his biggest thing. That's why I'm totally out on Mac Jones. Totally out. There's nothing you could tell me that he could look promising for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Another part of the conversation with like the quarterbacks and everything that we're speaking of, like with like I stand by my take on referencing like rookie quarterbacks, but the exception, which is what we're potentially seeing right now, the exception is if you have a good team now, the team wants to win, they don't want to deal with the rookies bullshit. And that is what I think is going on with the Browns right now and getting Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, they kind of like DTR is not him. He just isn't. He's not him. He's not ready to win games. They want to win games. They want to go to the playoffs. So getting Joe Flacco, I mean, I get it. This is just one of those exceptions.
This is the problem, though. Yeah, Riddell, this is the problem with that. No, I agree. Like, to me, DTR, like, they're trying to make a playoff run with that defense. So DTR is not going to get it done at the end of the day. But my thing is, you bring in a guy like Joe Flacco, if he's going to even put up consistent, like, football that's going to have you win, you need weapons around him. And the Browns, you know, they have Amari Cooper, who's decent. But when I look at their weapons as a whole with Joe Flacco as the QB,
no, I
don't trust them at all. Like I'm not saying that you said that you trust them in the past, but like I don't think that makes
I'm
him
saying
better.
I like their weapons. Not like David Njoku, I think is a good tight end.
Njoku's a good tight end, but like I just feel like
running
when we're
backs
looking,
have been performing this year with Kareem Hunt and Jerome Ford.
I think
And then
they'll make
Elijah
the
Moore,
playoffs.
I think, is a pretty good number 2. I think he's good.
Yeah,
Not
that's fair.
like high end good, but I think he can make plays. I think the Jets are missing Elijah Moore right now. That's what I think is going on right
Facts.
Yeah.
Ooh, in the slot, yeah, but they never got to utilize
Like,
him.
But it's it. I mean, I'm
I
not
just
mad at him
don't
for
think
wanting to
it's gonna hold
slide
up in
though,
the playoffs.
I wasn't mad at him neither.
because I mean the way we was utilizing him, bro, we was doing him a disservice too, bro. Unfortunately, honestly,
Very,
like
very bad.
we're doing him a terrible disservice, bro.
He all had Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, and Garrett all on the same team. Great.
But Corey stepped away for like personal reasons.
Now he did. Yeah, I think he retired. Right? He's done.
Yeah, he retired before the season. He didn't even play.
Yeah, that's tough.
But
But
we're talking about a team that's never made the Super Bowl since
Three Super Bowl 3,
This
bro.
is way deeper than the
Never
coach.
even made that shit.
This is a fact. This is the same stuff with every single, like with the Giants, with the Cowboys. Their owner don't want to give up the full control, and you might convince him to do a couple good things, but at the end of the day, if you want to win a Super Bowl, everything has to line up, and you have to be prepared in the draft.
Everything was lined up, bro, until the
No,
fourth
it
play of the
wasn't,
game.
bro. How is it lined up when you don't have a quarterback?
I said to the fourth play of the building.
And you don't have any receivers other than Garrett Wilson. It wasn't lined up. That's my problem with the Jets. It
wasn't lined up, but everybody says if Aaron Rodgers would have played that first 7 games, what our record would have been.
No, I'm not talking about it with Aaron Rodgers.
That's what I meant with Aaron. I only said with Aaron.
But Manny, you still saw Aaron Rodgers, and he had worse weapons in Green Bay. But you think that he's going to come in here and throw 4,700 yards, 36 touchdowns, 3 picks? But I'm saying that he has deficiencies somewhat in his career now. When we're talking about him evading the pocket, he could still do it. But if we're talking about a high level to win the Super Bowl, I still have some question marks there because he's still old. The arm talent is still there. No, I'm not saying that he doesn't have to, Manny. But when you're playing elite teams, when you talk about going to a Super Bowl, you're playing the best defenses. The Aaron Rodgers has to show up there. We've seen teams that are somewhere around the Jets with the Packers lose and put up 9 points against a team like the Packers who had a great, or not Packers, the Niners who had a great defense because, they Aaron Rodgers is only human as a quarterback. You need everything else to work out around you too. And the Jets do have that defense. That defense is top 3, 100%. The fact that they're doing that well with how bad that offense is doing makes me even higher on them for next season. Because when you change the time of play into the Jets' direction on offense, that makes it better. That's all I got to say.
So far, bro.
So far. I mean, I think y'all would be the 3rd best team in the AFC, and I'll give you all that. Right behind the Chiefs and the Ravens.
I think AFC Championship game max. I don't think it would have been more this year.
I think Nathaniel Hackett still is cooked.
Yeah, because
y'all need to get rid of him.
He's cooked. No, because I'm not gonna lie, bro. The play calling should still not be that bad, bro. It is.
But that's what I mean, Manny. Why would they? You saw,
bro? But let's be for real. Aaron Rodgers is not there. Nathaniel Hackett is not a Jet.
Yeah. But
so was Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb. Aaron, not gonna lie, this is another thing that I want to bring up. I think organizations are starting to learn we need to stop tearing up our team for these quarterbacks. We need to stop doing this.
Gotta stop.
Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, these guys were great before they traded him, and then he come on the team. There's something wrong with this team. I don't know. This is supposed to be an automatic.
Remember, they wanted to get him. That's the only way they were going to get him there. That's why they did it. They wanted to get him there.
But Manny,
they should have played hardball. What are you gonna do? Stay in Green Bay? You ain't staying in Green Bay. You better come to the Jets.
Manny, first of all, you have to take that in consideration when you're trading for him. The fact that you're gonna have to have Nathaniel Hackett as your OC, who we saw with Russell Wilson and not good talent, but not talent that's gonna have you win 2 or 3 games. I don't know. I forgot how many games they won, but they were so bad at the beginning of that season. To me, even though it's Aaron Rodgers, there were other avenues within the draft. I'm not saying that you could just bank on getting one of those guys, but all I'm telling you is this: like the fact that Nathaniel Hackett was able to come in here, it just shows that the Jets, like, they aren't fully there as a franchise to where, like, they could be like, Aaron, we want you here, but, like, you got to kick Nathaniel and, like, make that happen. Like, they just said,
listen, bro, you didn't have to. All I'm saying is, bro, like, my only question is, we got to stop letting. Riddell said it best, bro.
Yeah, facts.
Joe Douglas, the moment you heard Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb have to be here, come on, bro. You can't be that excited about.
I'm not gonna lie to you. They could have got Lamar, bro. I think they could have got Lamar, bro.
No,
I think they could have got Lamar, bro.
No, bro. Bro, that was all
he wanted. He said it. He didn't want to be a Raven like that.
Dude. No, all that stuff was pushed out by the media because the Ravens.
They could have traded for him, though.
The Ravens were trying to create. No, Manny, listen to me. The Ravens were trying to get him for the least amount of money that they possibly could. So they almost bashed this dude's name. And we could go on and talk about Lamar. I don't want to if you guys don't want to do it, but to me.
Lamar about what? Talk about him in what regard?
And that's to me right now, when I'm looking at like the top quarterbacks in the NFL, besides Patrick Mahomes, and I know you guys have Jalen Hurts right up there with them, but I have LamarJackson as my second best quarterback in the NFL.
And that's fine, but that's fine though. You can't be mad at that because that second spot could go to a lot of different quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That was my argument for the reason why you guys
are Allen, Hurts.
But
Burrow, obviously, like
there's so many names, bro.
Wait, because let me provide some context for some people that are in the chat that see all the bashing that has happened to LamarJackson on his name during this contract negotiation, which I think is a big reason why there's a lot of people in the media that have continued to push this negative narrative on LamarJackson because he's trying to get the most money possible out the Ravens, and so the Ravens are countering back. But to me, let's take Mark Andrews is a great tight end, but I want to take him out of this conversation. We look at the weapons that LamarJackson's had. He had Hollywood Brown for what was it, 1 year or 2 years? He had 1 year, 2 years.
2 years. He's a good receiver.
When I've been looking at those weapons, like okay, so he won the unanimous. He won the MVP unanimously with Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews in his first year popping off as a player, and no one else for his weapons. Next year, he comes in. The next 2 years, I would say he struggled decently. But this year, I want to say something. When I look at LamarJackson, yes, the turnovers have been a little bit tough. But I'm seeing him completely carry this Ravens offense. Like, let's keep it. Even with Mark Andrews on the field, he is carrying this offense. And people want to knock on Lamar for his completion percentage. Oh, his yards could be higher. Well, have you watched a single Ravens game this entire season? Because the only thing that they really do passing wise, I'm seeing them run the ball 2, 3, like 1 or 2 times in the down and then play action. And I see every receiver running a deep, either like post route or a deep route. And so what they do is instead of doing this an intermediate passing game that, a lot of these other quarterbacks do, that even Jalen Hurts does with those 2 receivers, if then nothing's open down the field, he's running the ball. And so people, and I'm not going to say their names, but some people want to push this narrative that LamarJackson needs to use his legs. No, the Ravens, that is their biggest threat in the intermediate. It's almost like they've taken out their intermediate passing game, just said, we're just going to try to push it down the field. And when I hear people say Lamar doesn't have touch, he doesn't have accuracy.
That's a lie.
Dude, you're not watching the games, because when you're asking LamarJackson to do 8 to 12 rushes a game and get every single amount of yard possible, take those hits, that's something that no other quarterback is doing in the league, really, besides Josh Allen, and Lamar is doing that more. That takes into account, you're talking about hits to the shoulder, dives, knee hits, which make those passes in the pocket a lot harder compared to some of these pocket quarterbacks. And that's the one thing I'm not trying to cape for Lamar necessarily. I'm not saying that he is by far and the best in the same tier with Mahomes. I'm saying he's in the tier below, but when I look at what he's doing, the only intermediate passing routes I see the Ravens doing are literally just hook routes. That's it. And then it's just all guys down the field. And like, I see Lamar, like that touchdown against the Colts, as much as he had that takeaway, that touchdown against the Colts where he does a read option and bends through the corner. Like, people talk about how Josh Allen can only make certain throws. That's only LamarJackson can do that in the NFL. That is the only player on that first touchdown when he made that run. That's the only player in the NFL that can make that play. You guys in the chat, I'm not going to say names, but you guys can talk about how LamarJackson's overrated all you want and the stats aren't there. I'm challenging you to go watch how they play and put that into context when you're looking at completion percentage and all that, because LamarJackson has to do way more than a lot of quarterbacks are.
No, I mean, Lamar is good. And I am not like a big Lamar guy. I'm not a big Lamar downer. I'm like even killed when it comes to Lamar. I think he's a really good quarterback and everything.
Me too. I give him props when it's due. That's
yeah, but at the same time, like we can make a lot of the same assertions when it comes to people like Josh Allen being his offense, of course, and especially when we know that even though he's not as good as a runner as Lamar, his arm strength and his ability to throw off platform is better than Lamar's. Then we could talk about Josh Allen, yeah.
Josh Allen's been statistically a better. But Lamar's been statistically a better intermediate passer than Josh Allen in their career.
And I'm not even talking about
Josh Allen. Josh Allen is better.
Are you talking about like check downs?
I'm talking about throwing ability. Josh Allen's throwing ability off platform and on the run is only like people say it's on par with Mahomes. I mean, I would say it's second to Mahomes, but it's up to you. So, I mean, I'm just telling you, that's probably Josh Allen's biggest strength at the end of the day. And then Joe Burrow, obviously, the way he dissects zones and defenses from inside the pocket, especially when the pocket, bro, for having no athletic ability, because Joe Burrow is obviously more athletic than people like Eli, but like his pocket presence is.
I love that man, bro.
I think it's second best in the league besides Mahomes. I think as a whole, that's what's.
I think Joe Burrow has the best pocket presence.
I mean, arguably, right? With his offensive line,
I'm not gonna lie. I may give y'all that. I may give y'all Joe Burrow right now. CJ Stroud's pocket presence is moving me.
It's
moving me.
It's moving me.
I ain't gonna lie. It's moving me.
But the way Joe Burrow got stacked so much, and for him
Josh, I know right now it's Joe Burrow, because I mean at the end of the day, when you led the NFL in sacks the first 2 years of your career and go to a Super Bowl, nobody's beating you. Pocket presence, I think he got better pocket presence than Mahomes, because he don't. My question is, the thing is, he don't do the scrambling stuff that Mahomes does to that same level. Like when I think about pocket presence, I think of like being able to stand in there, move within that still while there's chaos amongst you. Mahomes will go off schedule. He'll run to the outside and do. But I look at CJ and I look at Joe and them two. They're gonna take similar.
J-Rob breaking like tackles. I'm like, bro, how is Joe Burrow just breaking these?
Joe Shiesty is
because at LSU he was running too. It's just he has so many.
Bro, people don't realize that LSU he never slid. He didn't know what sliding was.
He didn't slide in the LSU.
J-Rob, I'm not trying to come at you right now because I actually agree. When I look at, I've never seen a quarterback his rookie season have better pocket presence than CJ Stroud. That was what I was trying to make in the episodes before. But my question is, which O-line do you think is better right now?
Oh, easily what he got in Houston. What CJ?
But the fact that he looks that good,
goes ahead of CJ right now for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For sure. That's all. That's the point. But I fully agree, dude. Get 1 or 2 more years of this. Oh my God, he's gonna be.
I think him and Joe Burrow are very similar, bro.
Can I say something about CJ Stroud? Because we were talking about like Zach Wilson and Mac Jones. Can I? Let's be honest. Do you think, from what we watch of the Houstons, do you think the play calling has been so astronomically good?
No. He extends plays.
You think CJ Stroud's God-given ability to play the position kind of supplement?
J-Rob,
he's really good, but the offense.
My question to y'all is good though. This is a real discussion I'm really trying to have with y'all. How much? Because it goes back to the OC versus quarterback. Where does
I know. They're only but if you look at their head coach, he's defensive based, so you wouldn't expect them.
So it's not even on him.
Yeah, so you didn't expect him to be the offensive
to me.
And
one more, doing a lot of 49ers type plays too.
And can I say something to y'all both? Remember what I was telling y'all about head coaches need to let the other coaches do their job?
Yeah, that's what he do.
That's what D'Amico does in Houston, bro.
Exactly.
That's what I said.
But
J-Rob is a defensive head coach.
Yeah.
This is
I would give it 65-45 personally.
65-45. I like that. I'm good with that.
This is the nuance that I wanted to talk about. And this is why I give the OC for the Texans so much credit as an offensive coordinator. When I'm talking about like OCs and what they should do, I'm not saying that you got to go in there like Andy Reid and just like create all these plays that no one's ever seen before. What all I'm saying is with the OC is like exactly what you're talking about with CJ Stroud. The play calling, it's not like ridiculous, but what they're doing is they're just calling the plays that'll put CJ Stroud in the best position to succeed as a player. So regardless of whether or not they're totally like just something we've never seen before and diverse, that's not what I mean. I'm just saying like, they're just pushing their cards to the table. They're saying, F it, man. Like, we're just going to trust this kid. And
for real.
That's the one thing that sets CJ Stroud apart is and that's why I say Mac Jones, Zach Wilson would never be able to do this because if you do the same play calls with those guys,
it's not going to look the same.
And the Texans are still going to look pretty decent because that coach is a good coach and he's only second-year coach. Yeah. But it's all nuance. That's what I want people to realize, and what I've realized looking at the NFL these past like couple years very specifically is it's all about nuance. It's all about both of them coming together. Like this is NFL.
It is one. I agree.
Like this is the best of the best. Like if you don't have the connection between both of those, between your OC and your quarterback, you can kiss it goodbye. As good as they are, you look at Josh Allen, it's the same.
Because if you look at Houston, what they do with CJ Stroud, fellas, like bro, they're running 2 to 3 man routes with this kid. One an X, a Y, an X, a Z, one tight end, a running back, under center, very much NFL concepts. And you could go ahead, Manny.
No, you can finish.
No, I was gonna say, like, you could tell that they're giving him very much. It's like the one thing I know, and if y'all remember Joe Burrow before he tore his ACL, I don't know if y'all peeped. Zach Taylor and that staff didn't have no training wheels on him, bro. He was throwing 40 times a game before he tore his ACL. And so when I look at CJ, like, bro, Riddell, there's no training. Like, if you're looking at the pass concepts, there's no training wheels with him. They're giving him he's able to pilot stuff that like quarterbacks in third year can't do yet. Like, I definitely will say, like, his learning curve, he's doing things that probably if you look at like a Jordan Love right now, I would say mentally they're on the same level, bro. At least right now, him and Jordan Love. And Jordan Love has had a 4-year head start.
Yeah.
I'm not even.
If you look at Jordan Love IQ with the game and CJ's, I'd say it's about even. Just because even though Jordan has more experience, CJ's understanding the concepts. So this is just advanced. I think CJ Stroud's a little bit better. Me too.
I would argue.
I totally agree.
And I agree with you, J-Rob, because I think this is kind of similar situation to, let's put it against the standard, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. When Andy Reid kind of realized, let this guy cook a little bit. I think the Texans around the middle of the season, they started to realize, hey, this O-line can block, and CJ Stroud is good off script. He has great pocket presence, and he has the arm to make the play. And I think recently, they've been, not recently, but the last couple weeks at the very least, they've been making plays to give CJ Stroud an opportunity to make these big plays. And we've seen it. Like, there's a reason why Tank Dell is going crazy on these 1v1 matchups, giving him time to make the play. There's a reason why Noah Brown with, like, it's not complicated, but they allowed CJ Stroud with the time, with the ability to kind of analyze the field, and then get it to where Noah Brown can make that play in the middle, and then he does what he does. So I think that's what Slovic just realized. Like, CJ Stroud is one of them guys. Yeah, I'm going to set him up.
Also, the thing that I give Slovic so much credit for that I really think pushes him as like a real genius with it, though, is when I look at the way he's utilized Noah Brown, not only with the crossers, but the reason why he had that stretch where he was getting those receptions too was because if you look at those games, every like RPO screen pass is directed towards him. And because he's such a body and the fact that like the offense is working really well. So like the defense isn't necessarily sure what's going to happen. We're seeing him getting those 10-yard runs or those 8-yard runs that are pushing the conversions for first downs and everything. And I think that that's so important. Like finding a guy like Noah Brown who has his deficiencies and making him look that good is CJ Stroud, but the coaches still have to be the ones calling the plays at the end of the day. And that's why I give him credit because he figured that out, which is his job. But like some OCs would not do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie to you. With the talent, I mean, I knew they had talent. I know Tank Dell, but you know, they just the way he sets up matchups. You gotta look at how he sets up how they set up matchups. Like sometimes he'll know that the corner's not gonna follow. He'll just line up taking the slot. It's 1-on-1 and taking the slot with a linebacker, bro. CJ throwing the ball. Like it's concept.
His precision is incredible.
It's insane, bro. Like how they got matchups that win. He got matchups that win. And then it's a genius.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Year 2 with CJ, because obviously now they're gonna have the footage. Now they're gonna start understanding. Okay, this is what they like to do. And they're going to go like, we're taking away these big plays. We're taking away these big plays. We're not going to – because same situation happened with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Like, enough with these big plays. You better just let that. So I'm very curious year 2 how they approach the game. And you're seeing a little bit of it now that's allowing them to do things with the run game, because Devin Singletary all of a sudden wants to be a 100-yard runner the last couple weeks. Again, to my point with the Bills, they had – 2 good running backs, they just never used them. Right. Zach Moss and Devin Singletary are doing things now all of a sudden. It's kind of crazy to me. But yeah, I'm curious to see what CJ Stroud does.
I want to say one more thing about Lamar, kind of redirect this back, and then Dev, you say you bring up what you want to bring up. But I think my only question with Lamar is when is John Harbaugh going to transition this offense into something that Lamar can work with when his athleticism wears down? And I'm not saying that you start implementing that now, but when I look at the hits that Lamar's taking on a game-to-game, what they're asking him to do, I'm not expecting his athleticism, his breakaway speed, some of these touchdowns that he's getting that he can do right now, he's not going to be able to do in 5 years. If they want to really string out his career, what they have to do is they need to start letting him really progress to the pocket like some of these other quarterbacks and using the short intermediate game, letting him become a passer. Because think about it. If let's say he becomes 30 years old or 29, 30, he has an injury. He comes back. He's not as athletic. They're going to have to push that on him before they've even had him try to do that. So I'm saying if you bring it on now, I could see Lamar really pushing the limits as good as he can be, because if you utilize more intermediate passing game and you let him progress to the pocket and make reads that you're not letting him do right now, he's only going to get better. It's only going to add to his game, and you're not going to ask him to run the ball as much. I'm not saying that they do that now. I'm saying maybe 2 or 3 years down the line. I'm just saying they need to think about it, because they're not always going to be able to play this way with Lamar. Let's keep it 100%.
No, fact. They do have to come up with a plan. Go ahead, Dev.
And y'all all cooked up. Manny made great points. Michael, you also made great points. I have Lamar number 2 as well. J.R., you're cooking up. You two right now. I think the thing with the Texans head coach, I think in the Texans situation, CJ Stroud, I was always high on CJ Stroud. I think the stigma that was wrong with CJ Stroud coming out of college was unfortunately the Ohio State biasness, saying Ohio State don't translate this, that. He was a run read guy.
Right.
Yeah,
don't either.
Erickson, this, that. But I think with I think the offense coordinator will get a head coaching job sooner than later. I'm not saying he'll get it next year. I think within the next couple of years, he might be a candidate to get a head coaching job. I think what you said it best. They've implemented a system for CJ Stroud. They're not forcing him to play any certain type of way. They're implementing a system for CJ Stroud to play at his best ability. I think that's what a lot of head coaches in the past sometimes fail to do. They want them to play their system instead of build a system around their skill set.
Right.
And I think with LamarJackson, he's a stigma. I think with the Ravens, he's a stigma of he's so talented. He has such a God-given leg ability. We want him to use this. It's like he's the stigma of we have to use these legs because of how God-given it is. It's kind of.
I love watching Lamar.
Well, you have to. But I will say this though, let's not be confused though about the legs. What is he in year 5 right now?
Yeah.
That's it.
Cam Newton really about year 10, year 11. All right. He started to slow down with his athleticism from being able to take hits and stuff. But even then, he was still able to be able to run. I think Lamar will never be able to have the same level of speed as he used to have. But I think he'll still be quick and within.
I think he'll have agility.
Agility.
But J-Ro, I'm saying if you implement that now, he has. I see it. He has the touch and the accuracy. Maybe the progressions are a little off because I will say he still takes some bad sacks right now. I'm not saying
I
he
agree
doesn't
with
take
that
bad
too.
sacks.
I see where he's coming from.
But like when you look at Josh Allen's turnovers, you know he's making bad reads. When I'm seeing LamarJackson, these are fumbles. These are like
these are because he runs the ball like
he's
this.
not making horrible reads, and
that's
and some guys on this some guys want to say, oh, he's missing all these throws. I'm seeing him miss like a couple throws a game, but like he makes a lot of right decisions, like a good amount of the time. And for me too, I just think I agree with Dev, but the CJ Stroud point I want to bring up too, this is kind of crazy for me, is the only game that I watched CJ Stroud in college was the Bama game. Or wait, was it
the
Georgia
game?
Georgia game. My bad. It was the Georgia game. That was the only game I watched. So I was high on him. But when I go back and look at the stats and like, you know, watch some of those highlights now or in the past, I'm not necessarily like saying that if I watched every game, I would have been as high as him as I was, because he did not play that level in that game. In really any of he had good games, don't get me wrong, but that against Georgia.
Now, what he did against Georgia is I think he answered a lot of questions.
I think he improved as a quarterback, like from then. Like, if you watch, I remember when he played Northwestern. He was making terrible reads. I was like, yo, what the fuck?
But also, man, I just don't think he had to play that wet, like how he played against Georgia.
But Georgia, he had to play that good.
Yeah, you know, I know he had to play that good. I'm talking about like in a regular season against some other lesser tier.
Yeah, but it was like
he didn't have to run around.
Why he threw that ball, bro? Like, what? Yeah, but that's why some people thought that with him and Bryce, because what Bryce was doing, Bryce was balling. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I understand why
Bryce was balling.
But CJ was balling at Ohio State too. Y'all know I watch every game.
I know. But I think it's because they look at how CJ had Marvin and Buka.
Yeah.
Bryce, who he had.
Yeah,
but whose situation was better,
though?
Bryce Young's situation was better. Let's not get into
hell no.
I say it's about
hell no.
Manny, are you kidding me, bro? Bryce,
dude, he had the best offensive line.
Those young receivers weren't really.
Bryce still had a better situation.
Okay. No, Manny,
stop lying, bro. You're dead lying. The defense at Alabama was way better than what he had at Ohio State.
But the offense, I'm talking about from a quarterback.
Bro, he had who's on his team? Didn't he have Waddle?
Marvin Harrison in the
up the roster because this
Marvin, you didn't know what Marvin Harrison was to that breakout year. That was the breakout year for Marvin. You didn't know what he was that year last season. Marvin broke out that year. The only reason people even had any expectations of Marvin going into the year is because of the Rose Bowl where he went off for 3 touchdowns. That's not then obviously, that's Marvin Harrison's junior son going off against Utah for 3 touchdowns. This is my team. I know how we talking about my Buckeyes. I know how this shit go. That boy was not seen. I knew he was on the roster, but he was not the highest recruited, touted as some of the other players. Julian Fleming was a better prospect than him coming into high school.
Fleming was tough.
So Fleming was number 1 damn near in the country.
And
Marvin really showed in the weight room and all of that in the backside. Like, yeah, I'm like that. That's how people got put on. And then the Rose Bowl, that people was out. Olave and all them boys didn't play, so he got his opportunity. He showed out. When you look at the two teams, though, if you look at the two teams, bro, the level of talent, bro, you're talking about one position. You cannot use one position to say a guy had a better team. You're using one position group. Using one position group. That's too disingenuous for you to get behind, bro.
I think it's a toss-up because Bryce has to be.
It's not a toss-up. Alabama had the best defense in the country. It's not a toss-up.
Wait, Deb and Manny, stop for a second. Listen to me.
Like those were like some of the worst defenses Ohio State had when CJ was there, bro. Those were not our great defenses, bro.
Yeah.
Our back end was not good. We had Michigan blurring us back-to-back years. Stop it with his better team. Don't get lost in just wide receivers.
Stop. You're not too much on the DBs.
Wait, but Dev.
That's my squad.
Wait. Stop. So Alabama's defense, we don't gotta even talk about that.
Yeah,
that defense was solid. Number 2.
O-line better in Bama.
You guys are looking at the weapons. Wait. You guys are looking at the weapons from like in NFL's perspective, which doesn't make sense
Facts.
either because Marvin Harrison hasn't
I'm
even
looking
played
at
in
NFL
NFL. He's just a highly
perspective. I'm not
prospect.
looking
Wait,
at NFL
wait, stop it.
perspective. What are you talking
Manny, listen to me. When you look at the college game, you're not coming up against cornerbacks that are like you're coming back up against good cornerbacks. But we're talking about consistently game to game. You got like 8 cupcake games at least, or 6 cupcake games at least. When you're looking at the weapons that Bryce Young had in the context of those games in college, those were good weapons for college. Those were good. Those guys were getting open with separation. They had a good running game. And not only that, their offensive line was incredible. And that's the biggest thing for me. Bryce Young needs an offensive line. And I'm not even sure in the NFL he can even be like a top 10 quarterback with one.
Nah, he was nice. Bryce was
You guys,
nice.
this is what I don't get because as a 5'10" and a half man, everybody wants to act like that Tua. Like guys who are like 6'1" under aren't short for the NFL. Guys, these are 6'2" offensive linemen. You need to be able to see over them. If you're Tua, think about me. I'm 5'10" and a half. I'm like 175, bro. If I'm in the pocket, I can't see over the line. I'm gonna have to look through the gaps. It makes it way harder. And when you have Bryce Young, which every single defensive position on the line is getting blocked to the max, and you can literally choose whatever gap you want to look through, whatever gap you want to run through, whether you want to go to the right, whether you want to go to the left, and all the receivers know you as a player. So as soon as you make that cut,
you was dead lying, bro.
Complete
Hold on.
Bryce Young's last year at Bama.
Bryce Young,
hold on.
Bryce Young, you saying his last year. You saying his last year.
Last year,
CJ his last year, but you didn't say that at first. You didn't say his last year at first.
Yeah, the last
So
year.
when you first brought that shit up, bro, you're lying. Now I'm gonna tell you why you're lying though. Bryce Young, his sophomore year, we won the Heisman, bro. You had J-Mo.
We know that.
This team had Trey Saunders on it. This was John Mechie, Jordan Battle, Bryce Young, Henry Toto, Kool-Aid McKinstry. Bro, this team was loaded. Brian Branch.
When was CJ like, okay, that boy? The same year
CJ was starting 2021 too.
But Bryce's last year, we know it was the year that we both got drafted. That's what we was talking about.
Yeah, we saw their last year.
They played Georgia that year.
Okay, but in 2021, hold on, 2021 though, going into that 2022 years, you would have put the wide receiving rooms against each other, bro.
No, we agreed that, Daryl. We agreed that.
Marvin, I'll give you Marvin.
I'll give you Marvin. Give me a Mecca too. Give me a Mecca.
I'll give you but what I'm saying, no, I'm giving you Marvin. I'll give you Marvin. But what I'm saying about no. I'm not. All right, I'm not giving you a Mecca. I think a Mecca is all right, but my only thing is Ohio State's defense versus Alabama. Them 2 seasons was not close, bro.
No, Zero. No, we
agree. I think there was one specific room, wide receiver room, where I could give the nod to Ohio
Bryce
State.
Played better competition.
Bama
and Bryce played better comp.
Okay, with a better team, better comp with a better.
His team was not bad.
Stop.
No,
This is when y'all start overrating the SEC. This is when y'all start overrating the SEC.
I don't like the SEC.
This is when y'all start overrating the SEC.
His team was
the SEC. The SEC over the last few years, especially since the introduction of NIL. The SEC since the introduction of the SEC since the introduction of NIL, there's been way more parity in college sports. When y'all talk about the SEC now, it's not a way better difference between the Big Ten and the SEC at this point with the conference.
Especially last year.
If you look at outside of, if I took outside of Georgia and the University of Alabama, in Ohio State, in Michigan, in the Big Ten, all them other teams below them 2 teams, you could put them teams in a brown paper bag and start pulling names out. Because Kentucky not nothing. Kentucky's not crazy. Florida hasn't been crazy in God knows.
Who he at?
No, y'all nasty. Y'all trying to make it seem like Alabama.
Besides Jahmyr Gibbs, who did he have?
No, you're trying to make it seem like Alabama, like even in that last year, wasn't like a top like 5 to 7 team. Like they lost.
Bryce Young. Because of Bryce. Bryce was doing crazy shit, bro. He was carrying them.
I'm just
CJ,
saying.
you can say CJ was too. Did you not watch the Georgia game? Who carried that game? Who carried that game?
That was the national championship game.
Okay, Manny.
I don't gotta agree with me. I don't care, Chad. I don't have to agree with me. I watch more college football than most. I already know parity in college sports is at an all-time high thanks to NIL. And if you're going to use that, if you're going to say that Bryce Young carried LS, then I'm going to say the same thing about CJ Stroud at Ohio State. Because you're going to say unless you're going to sit here and tell me if you're going to sit here and tell me that Bryce Young did not spend time throwing to wide open targets at Alabama, even the year after that you say all these people left, and you don't want to say that same thing, and you're using that to slight CJ Stroud. That's disingenuous because I'm pretty sure I watched enough Alabama games seeing wide receivers running around uncovered, and this goes back to Michael's point that it's these college DBs. When you talk about these names compared to who they are in the NFL versus college, Alabama has the most number one recruited classes time in and time out. So they're going to have the better talent time in and time out. Just because the names Ohio State too. But just because the names, I'm saying it's even. You're trying to say that Bryce had to do more than CJ or something like that. And that's, to me, I don't think that's true.
I don't think he has
in any sense, bro.
But I think
that's not true.
I think CJ's team was better.
Not true.
Wait. Okay. So
CJ's team was not better, bro.
Okay,
you can't use one. You're using one room to say that. That's bullshit.
J-Rob.
You're using the wide receiver room to say that. You cannot say Amika Egbuka and Marvin Harrison Jr. make his team better. That's bullshit.
Manny, don't respond. Manny, stop. Let me get something off.
That's bullshit.
Manny.
What was their defense rank like?
Manny,
that's bullshit, bro.
Manny, answer me this one question. This totally destroys your point, regardless of which situation was better.
What's up?
Do you think that Bryce Young could have walked into that Georgia game and played that well?
Y'all lost 21 points a game last year, bro.
Answer me that. Because I'm telling you, there's no possible way he would have done that.
21 points.
Our schedule, gang.
Stop
We're gonna do that against
That was
Maryland,
all him. That was
Michigan
all
State,
him.
What happened?
Indiana.
Dude, the same place. Manny, the same place.
Y'all do it to Kentucky and Michigan, Mississippi State, and Arkansas. That's what the same thing we supposed to do to them whack teams. Same thing y'all do to them whack teams.
Bro, Manny, this is what's crazy. The same stuff.
I'm saying, man.
No. The same plays that he was making in that game in Georgia.
What's up, bud?
Was exactly the same stuff he's making in the NFL. So you're sitting here and saying Bryce Young can't do that. He's not making those plays, bro.
Bryce Young can't do what?
Wait, you think? He
couldn't do
Manny.
Georgia
You
game.
think? Wait, Manny.
You're
think
cooked
Bryce
on
Young,
that, bro.
Wait, hold on. You think? Manny. You think Bryce Young could do what he was doing at Alabama in the NFL?
Oh, in the NFL. Oh, no. I think.
Okay. No, I thought that's what we was debating.
I think we were talking about if he could do that thing versus Georgia that CJ did. Hell yeah, he could have in that.
Oh yeah, I think in the NFL, in the Natty, he could have. But hey, let's get to this new topic. Yeah, in the Natty, I think he could have did that, man. I thought we were talking about the lead.
No, hell no.
So ESPN finally put out their top 5 playoff MVP rankings as of as of week 13. At the top, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. I think that was obvious, but this is where it gets a little interesting. At number 3, though, Dak Prescott. And right now, he's plus 800 to win the award.
I'm betting.
Then at 4 and 5 is Lamar and Tyreek Hill, who have also his names has come up. But the reason why I want to talk about it is because of Dak Prescott's name being thrown into the mix. Is Dak Prescott a legitimate
who's 1 and 2
MVP candidate? Mahomes and Jalen Hurts.
Wait. Okay, let me go.
Yeah, Hurts is 1.
Because
let Riddell start this off because he ain't.
Okay, Riddell, you go. My bad.
He ain't talking.
Y'all.
Once we get to college football, Riddell get a little. You don't know he's cooked.
I'm just chilling. I'm not gonna speak on things.
But he is an Ohio State fan, though, y'all. Just so y'all know, he rocks Ohio.
By default, but recently, we got the nasty laws.
Nasty laws, but at least you can't lead a squad, bro. You can't lead a squad.
No, you're right. I'm here.
We here. Was Dak Prescott an MVP, man?
I mean, by the credentials, Yeah, I mean, I've already said that the Cowboys are just front runners. They've been doing exactly what we expect. They beat the bad teams really badly.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean, they've just been doing what they're doing. I will give credit to the Cowboys, though, because initially, especially leading up to the 49ers game, one of the big things that I was kind of saying is that once you kind of limit their run game and put pressure on Dak, then at that point, the offense is completely moot. That's exactly what happened in the 49ers game. But ever since that game, I think Mike McCarthy was like, you know what? Let's cook. And CeeDee Lamb's been cooking.
Right.
Dak Prescott's been passing. And that pass game is way more important than the run game now. So I'll give them credit
which
to
is
that.
backwards, which is why they got rid of Kellen Moore, because he was like, I want to use my run game more with Tony Pollard, and now he's airing it out.
Right.
So no, but
like,
here's the thing. See, let me give context to this because I've watched. I've been really looking at the film when it comes to Dak, and I'll say this: the first 4 games, we saw what Mike McCarthy wanted to do back when he first got the job as a Green Bay Packers in 1990. This man was running such a basic offense, and Dak Prescott definitely wasn't playing great in those games, but like I'm not seeing necessarily even great situational play calls. Those play calls were horrible. They're trying to run inside with Tony Pollard, use him like they did Zeke last year, which didn't even work. Because if you got to run outside zones to either Zach Martin's side or Tyron Smith's side. You can't do these inside dives with Tyler Biadasz. Biadasz is horrible at center. So I think it's gotten better. And the best play calling that I've seen this year from the Cowboys was last week. Now, I'm not trying to hype this up, though, Riddell, because to me, you saw exactly what the deficiencies for the Redskins were on that defensive line because they just traded those 2 guys. So that's an easy thing to do, to go pitch it to Tony Pollard in that game. I'm not really giving him credit for that. I mean, I like the fact that he did it. And the biggest thing that I give him credit for, though, is he said week 4, he said, I'm not going to go out sad no more. Like what I'm going to do is I'm going to start utilizing these motions the same ways that Mike McDaniel does. He's just taking certain stuff from other guys. And if you look at the film, they're running similar play calls. The difference is instead of having like a weak wheel route for Brandon Cooks, they're sending him on a crosser across the middle of the field 40 yards, and they're utilizing him to the best of his ability now. And the reason why I still have Dak right at number 3 as well is when you look at the Cowboys this year, yes, they have the loaded defense, but we've seen in the games, even against competition where it's not that crazy, if Dak Prescott isn't going off in these games, like they're not going to win because the defense still isn't totally consistent out there. It's getting interceptions and everything like that. And it is still like a top 5 defense, I would say. But if you look at it, they still struggle in the linebacking core with the short passes to the running backs, to the middle of the field, and they're not consistent, which I think a lot has to do with some of the nuanced play calling from Dan Quinn. And I don't want to go too crazy about that, but my thing is when I look at Dak compared to any other year, we're talking about a guy who knows who he has as his wide receiver 1, CeeDee Lamb. And instead of last year, I saw a lot of Dak not really trusting CD, just sending it to the best matchup and kind of throwing the ball that not necessarily the guy's totally open for. And some of those throws were bad and were off target or forced. And a lot of them were just literally just jump catches that, defenders deflected or whatever. So to me, this year, he's utilizing the fact he knows exactly when to give CD the ball and when to use his other guys at this point, when you give him the right play calls and you let it go. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you if the situation's bad, like a Patrick Mahomes or someone like that he could just make it work all of a sudden. We've seen that not happen against the Niners. But I will say this. I think they beat Seattle just because of the fact that I don't see anyone that can deal with Michael Parsons. I don't see the Seattle's defense really being able to deal with the Cowboys necessarily. They have Witherspoon, they have guys. But as a whole, I don't see it happening. I think the Bills are going to be a huge test. I think I probably have the Bills winning that game, honestly, because of the desperation. I still feel like McCarthy isn't that great of a coach. I feel like McDermott can do decent when it comes to some of his struggles. And, against the Eagles, we have a really good matchup. But I'll say this. We need to beat the Eagles. That's 100%. You can't go 0-2 against the Eagles. And you got to go at least 3-2 and pop off in every single game. You can't be the reason why they're losing. You have to go off. And that's when the real consideration takes place. But I will say is when we look at these inflated numbers, I don't expect these numbers to keep going the way they are because every single year, right around week 12, week 13, the same stuff happens where these games stop becoming blowouts and they become close because the end of the season is totally different. So to me, if Dak goes 3-2, like 4-1 or whatever, and balls out, and Jalen Hurts comes on the downswing, I think he can really make a run. But right now, I still have Jalen Hurts ahead. Right now, I still have Mahomes ahead. Right now, I still have LamarJackson ahead. I have to see Dak these next 5 games ball out for me to put him over any of those guys.
And I have a question. What's the Lions record?
Lions are 8-3, same record.
What if they win out?
The Lions.
That schedule is not hard.
My thing with
because
I feel like they will drop a Vikings game just because they will. I don't know. For some reason, they're split against the Vikings. But the Lions are exactly what I thought the Cowboys were in the first 4 weeks. You get pressure on Jared Goff, and you stop that run game. The offense is very, very much loaded.
They still are that. They're the same. They are that.
Yeah, they are. They're literally that.
They are that. And that's my problem is you can't go in and have a game like, yeah, you threw 3 picks and you won it. That's not necessarily bad. Number one, I think that's a major issue when we're talking about MVP. Number 2, the next week you come in and lose against the Bears. That takes him out of the conversation for me because I like Jared Goff. I think he's right around that tier of.
To be fair, Dak
10 to 13
to the Cardinals.
Yeah, Dak did lose to the Cardinals.
Facts.
That was a disgusting loss and very, very bad offense. I mean, I've never been
lost to the Broncos.
Riddell. My question is,
they were trolling, bro.
No, they were no.
Sick.
But I don't know if you watched that game though, Riddell.
They lost to the Broncos.
The thing,
they were not
both the Niners and the Cowboys game, Dak folded, but in those first 2 quarters, I think the entire team and they're just not prepared for those games. And I think Dak was the reason why they were in it close in the first 2 quarters. And I think the problem is the reason why I push back on Dak being the MVP is when I look at a guy like Jalen Hurts, the situation is better, but Dak still has pieces around there.
Honest,
and but when Jalen Hurts does bad in a game, he's not out of it. My problem is with Dak. If they would have lost that Niners game, I'm not mad that they lost. The problem is he threw 3 picks in that game. He totally faltered at the end of the game. And at the beginning, the first 2 halves, I honestly thought he played good. I don't know if you guys want to push back on that, but I did not feel like you're talking about Tony Pollard fumbling, getting no push on the offensive line. He's making completions. He missed a couple guys, I think, in that game, but the problem was the second half. The second half was horrible because he folded when the team wasn't working.
I thought he played good, but I'm still the big thing for Dak Prescott because ultimately Jalen Hurts. I've been saying Jalen Hurts is going to win MVP for a long time, so I've been sticking with that. I've been also saying that Mahomes is not winning the MVP because they don't want him to win the MVP anymore. But I don't think he'll go. I don't think he'll ever go below 2. So at this point, I think it's Hurts MVP to lose. But LamarJackson.
That's what I'm saying. Lamar.
That's exactly my point.
A very strong case for MVP being also
he does a carry job and they're 8-3. It's a carry job with 8-3. And he lost Andrews. Oh my!
And God. They might get Zach Ertz because he's let go on the Cardinals.
Bro, that would be a steal right now for them.
That would be good. Yeah, that would be really good for the Ravens. Isaiah Likely, Zach Ertz, they can play with that 2-man game again. And then obviously Zay Flowers keep on doing what he's doing. OBJ, Rashad Bateman stop being a terrorist, and then the Ravens could have a decent run with that run game because Keaton Mitchell all of a sudden started being one of the more dynamic rookie running backs in this draft. But
I think that a lot of people I think a lot of people give the Ravens O-line a lot of credit.
Drop balls.
But I think the Ravens O-line is really good. I don't think it's bad, but I'm not going to
I don't think the Ravens O-line is bad either.
But I don't think that it's elite though because I'll say this. I'm not seeing necessarily big consistency in their run game, and as much as I love Keegan Mitchell, the guy's still a rookie. When we're talking about breaking tackles within the tackles, being consistent, trying to get maybe 3 or 4 yards a carry, he's getting stopped a little bit, even though he's pushing those runs. And I'm not saying to take him out of the offense, but When I look at the games they've utilized Gus Edwards, where they said, screw it, Gus, give me 16, I like their offense a lot better. And I think, too, to that, if you go in the playoffs and you give Keegan Mitchell 13 carries, he's going to have probably about 6 or 7 that are going to get stopped completely, and he's going to have a couple big plays.
That's
when
all
I look
they
at Gus
need.
Edwards,
They use Justice Hill. They use him mostly for a lot of different situations.
I
don't
think
like
he's a
him,
good
but they like
blocker.
him for his receiving ability, and he's a little bit more consistent between the tackles than Gus and Keaton.
Wait, Dev, before you go, before you go, wait, before you go, I'll let you go after this. I just want to say to that point, yes, but to me, it's just when I look in the playoffs, I value consistent running. And I think against really good defenses, Gus Edwards is still able to give you 3 or 4 yards of carry, even though the big playability isn't there. And in the red zone, he's a massive utilization. So I think
I agree. I've been saying since the beginning of the year, I was on here.
I think it should be even split every game. Because they don't have – the problem is they don't have an intermediate passing game, so they're relying on Lamar to go 12 carries. If you want to be that team, to me, pound it with Gus Edwards a little bit more. You give Keegan Mitchell 8 to 10 touches. You use him in the same ways that you do Justice Hill, and you just take Justice Hill out of the equation when it comes to offense and just use him as a blocker because I value Justice Hill as a blocker, but I don't think Justice Hill – I think – agility, speed, everything that you need as a running back is it's very low at this point. Like he's not the same player it was.
I don't disagree. Keegan Mitchell can take all those carries.
I think obviously just J.K. Dobbins' injury that kind of killed that because he was their number 1 running back. I feel like
he was by far their best.
If he was healthy, I think they're going to draft a running back and look for a number 1 running back to help this offense. But I think Mike, to your point, I think they're giving Keaton Mitchell touches, so. I don't think he can get used to the offense. So I think once they get in the playoffs, depending on that matchup, that's who's gonna get in hot hand. I don't think he's gonna get all those touches in the playoffs. I think he will get some big plays. I think there's just since they see, he's really good. Like they found out he's really good. So hey, let's implement him with the offense and get him some touches to get used, so he can be ready in the playoffs just in case we need him. I still think
that's a great point.
I still think they'll use Justice Hill and Gus Edwards more because I think. Like you said, like those guys can run in between the tackles more, can be utilized on the goal line better. And I think they could use that dynamic offense of Keaton Mitchell with his because he runs like a 4.2. He's very fast. So I think they're just getting used to him. That's just my opinion.
That's why I would take away Justice Hill's carries and add them to Keegan Mitchell, but still give Gus Edwards a consistent workload because even no matter the matchup, you still need in the playoffs a consistent run game. I'm not necessarily big on the fact that you need that running game to be the best part of your team because I don't think that that's true. I think the pass game needs to be there. But if you look at all these teams that have won Super Bowls, not only have they had dynamic passing games, but their run game is consistently getting you 3-4 yards of carry, positive numbers. And when I look at a guy like Keegan Mitchell, I just think if you give him too many carries, there's going to be too many carries that are -1, zeros that make it way harder on that passing offense because that passing offense relies on good down position. I think.
Yeah, that's why I think you utilize him in more position and for certain points in the game. So to go out to cut outside the corner or the defense is soften up. So once the defense does soften up or using the passing game, that dynamic speed to break out for a big play. And also. Dak, I know we're going to say it, Dak Prescott low-key does have an MVP case because out of all the quarterbacks, he does have the numbers. Does he have the narrative? I don't think he has the narrative or the story.
Well, a lot of these quarterbacks have the numbers. If we're being honest, right?
They're all within the same realm.
Yeah, Dak Prescott, he's playing.
If we're going by numbers, Mahomes should get it because he has no weapons and his numbers are still on par with almost every quarterback.
That's a fact, but obviously he's not going to win it. My thing,
I don't think he is either. I don't think he really deserves it, to be honest.
I would argue, especially considering that this team beat your team, that Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy should have the same MVP case. I would argue for the situation, especially since we know it's a quarterback award, because very similarly to the situation with the Eagles and the Dolphins, even the 49ers. If we're going to say Tyreek Hill gets an MVP case and A.J. Brown gets an MVP case and Christian McCaffrey gets an MVP case and CeeDee Lamb should get an MVP case.
Right.
He's going absolutely nuts right now on the Cowboys as well. So my thing is
Deron Bland deserves some MVP.
Deron Bland deserves
He ain't never gonna get it though. They ain't giving it to that guy. And I love him. I love Deron Bland.
He's balling. He's hooping.
Yeah. I think these last couple of games gonna like.
Brock already beat Dak, so that's what I'm saying.
Right
they
now,
ain't giving him Defensive Player of the Year. But Riddell, I think, dude, I just want to push back on the Brock Purdy MVP. And I'm not sitting up here slandering the guy, man. I'm not. Like, I think he's right within the realm of the top 10 to 13 for me. But, dude, when everything is right for the Niners, a lot of quarterbacks within the top 10 would be doing just as good, if not better, with that offense, man. That offense is 100% catered to who he is as a player. And he has the ability to win you a Super Bowl. That's not my take. My take is the fact that
Brock Purdy has enough.
You look in the moments where the offensive line breaks down. Like Jalen Hurts has trouble with that. Every quarterback has trouble with that. But Brock Purdy, Brock Purdy needs everything to go right. When everything goes right for Brock Purdy, he's dynamic because he has the ability to run.
And on top of that, Riddell, I gotta admit with him too, what Michael's saying, what Michael's saying too is like, I watched Jalen Hurts with this broken top tier team that everybody talks about, but when that team is touch and go and they're teetering and they're you know who gets that thing balanced out? That quarterback. Sure. And that's the only thing about Purdy. Like, I like what Purdy's able to do because I do think where he's better than Jimmy G is he unlocks more for their team because they can put the ball in his hands more to make throws. But I also don't know. I think he's a better thrower too. But I also don't know, can he be able to work under chaos? I just don't know that yet. And that's my issue with him. He has not shown me enough to get this confidence where, like, look, I don't think he's an elite talent. And y'all know me. I'm not one of these people that believe in getting shit done. I'm not believing, this guy throws farther, this guy's arm's more talented. I just need to see what you're doing now. If you're showing capabilities and then you have those God-given talents, then I'll add that into how I view you. But if you don't have the foundation, then I can't really rock with you. I think he has the foundation.
I'm with you.
I'm just not all the way sold. He got to just show me I'm this much more.
And we would have
with you. The only reason why I brought up Pop Purdy, because I think Hurts is the MVP, is because
we know that. Yeah.
Should there be a gap between Dak's MVP case and Purdy's? And I don't think there should.
I don't think.
I agree.
I think Dak's MVP case. Obviously, he's playing very well. I think Purdy's playing arguably just as well.
Right.
Dak is on the Cowboys. I think that is what rose his MVP case to be number 4 right now.
Riddell. That's the point I was trying to make. But Riddell, if he comes in these next 5 games and he actually wins them, and you guys know me, I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but it can happen. So we have to consider that. If that happens, he's up there with the tier quarterbacks that you say that he's not with right now. And his case is way better than Brock Purdy's because as much as that offense is talented, very talented, top 10, now honestly top 7, maybe even top 5 for me. But Dak Prescott is making that offense run. Let's not get that twisted. When we're talking about him, when we talk about guys like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, who are audibling plays, communication. When I look at the John Gruden video, what's the quarterback camp? That was the biggest thing he told Dak. He said, your communication needs to be the best. And I see this year that has really come into play. This guy, not only is he calling audibles when he needed to be called, obviously some of his checks aren't going to work, but, he knows exactly what's happening before the play is called, just like Jalen Hurts. And I would say a little bit better than Jalen Hurts, but that's what makes Jalen Hurts so good at the end of the day too, is his pre-snap reads are way better than people give him credit for. Way better. Now, he does struggle with pressure, but there's a reason why he was that efficient last year, even with the run game, because his ability to read pre-snap is good. Now, we saw in the Chiefs game, Spags giving him different coverages that are disguised, and he's still struggling with that. I think Dak probably struggles with that a little bit too. But that's when we're knocking Jalen Hurts. I don't agree with that because pre-snap, he's still decent. He's still good. No, not decent. He's good. I like that.
But I will say this though. If Brock Purdy and the Niners come and bust the Eagles, and they just go on a win streak for the
They're
rest
not
of
doing
the
that though. They're not
But he
busting
has
the
to play
Eagles.
well
though.
too.
They're not busting the
I can't
Eagles,
see
bro.
that, bro. I can't see that.
This is some BS. Wait, this is some BS though about Brock Purdy, which I hate. If he comes in and throws 220 yards and even like 2 or 3 touchdowns, you guys are gonna be crying for him to be MVP because his passer rating is gonna be crazy.
I know who will though. My boy
Luther
Luther will.
He's
He's gonna come in here crying.
If he
Gonna come in here crying over
case,
Purdy.
Riddell, keep it consistent. If he wants an MVP case, he has to play at least as good or if not better than Dak Prescott played.
Dak's stats are not that far ahead of Purdy.
Wait, can I ask you a question about Dak? Can I ask you this question about Dak? Let me ask you this question about Dak.
Situation is way
Let me
better,
ask you this about Dak because we gotta go soon. We gotta go in 8 minutes. So I want to get 2 questions off for y'all real quick. If Dak Prescott leads the Cowboys to the NFC Championship, and let's just say they lose, he plays well enough, not even the Super Bowl. Is he top 7? Does he pass Herbert?
No,
I don't think he passes Herbert.
I don't think he passes Herbert.
Right there though.
He's
okay.
in though.
I'm asking for
Okay. My question to you guys is, I'm gonna just.
So I think he's top 10, but does he become?
I'm gonna shut up and let everyone here speak on this question I asked. But do you guys think that Trevor Lawrence is better than Dak Prescott right now?
Yes.
No, I don't.
No.
I stand on this Trevor Lawrence train.
You guys do think that?
I swear to God, Trevor Lawrence is that guy. I am standing 10 toes down.
Okay, Riddell, because to me,
no, Riddell, I can't say that right now. I can't. Yo, Trevor Lawrence gets y'all give him too much. Yo, Michael, my issue is I think they give him too much love. You good. They give him too much love for not always having to be great, bro. Like,
no, Riddell. My question.
He's had too many games. It's not a criticism, bro. He's had so many like very average games that we overrate. But when Dak goes for 303 touchdowns,
thank you, J-Rob.
I agree.
It's like, oh well, they played this team. But when Trevor Lawrence goes for 225 and a TD. And they just won the game, man. He puts him. I'm just like, yo, I don't see. I'm not. And Riddell, this is not no hate on Trevor. I like Trevor. I just like
facts.
Yo, there's no gap. I'm not saying that.
No. I want to say this real quick. I think
they're on the same tier.
The only reason why
no gap right now.
The only reson why I can't buy that, and maybe someone like
I like Trevor. I dare like Trevor.
But I like Dak, bro. I like Dak. I hate how people hate Dak.
I like Dak too. If we're talking about Trevor Lawrence, bro, he had a masterclass against the Texans, and we haven't talked about it at all. We haven't talked about it
that's
all,
3
bro.
games. He struggled so hard that he did not play better than Dak Prescott through the first half of the season. He's had 2 good games in a row. The rest of those games are inconsistent, Riddell.
No. When we're talking about this season isn't.
I'm not gonna lie. I was at that.
This season is worse than last season. I'll give you that so far. Obviously, they're still winning games. They're winning games with the worst team, but this version of Trevor Lawrence in terms of.
I'll tell you right now.
I agree.
I agree with man.
This version of Trevor Lawrence in terms of production is less than last year. I give you that. I do think it's in part due to the play calling being atrocious.
Okay, but Riddell.
But if we're talking about Trevor Lawrence and what's making the Jags go, if you're going to bring up Brock Purdy having all these great weapons, you got to keep it a buck. Trevor Lawrence doesn't have any, not nearly the amount of talent that the Cowboys have.
No,
he has a way worse offensive line.
It's not as
but I'm not gonna lie to you.
Winning.
Wait, hold on. Let me say this.
My bad.
You think the Cowboys? You think Dak Prescott has better weapons than T-Law like that?
Nah,
it's not that different to me.
I don't think it's because I'm taking ETN over Pollard.
I just don't like
way better than those.
I just don't like. What I really don't like, and I gotta admit, and I'm not a Trevor
Lawrence Christian Kirk over Brandon Cooks.
Facts.
I'm taking over their third
receiver. Both of those 2 receivers are way better.
I'm taking Evan Ingram over their tight end.
All I'm saying though is this, Riddell, and this is what comes with Trevor Lawrence, and this is why I hate when my boy Tank Jones in the chat say we hate Trevor. We don't hate Trevor, but Trevor is the only quarterback that is allowed to play average.
I disagree.
Or play just good enough.
Wait, let me add.
And it's all good. He's an elite quarterback.
No,
other quarterbacks. Hold on. Other quarterbacks play. Other quarterbacks go out and put up comparable numbers, and I see the way you guys criticize them for it. And I don't understand how one guy could be in elite territory and the other guy cannot. I just
I'll say my distinction real quick. I'll say my distinction real quick because I have an elite. I
think Lamar has more upside than Dak for sure. 6'6". You can't teach the talent. Can't teach that.
So I'll respond to two things real quick. I was talking about the overall team. And even like the weapons, if we're going piece by piece, the way they're utilizing it this year has been poor, other than Travis Etienne.
I think Jacksonville has a better running game.
The Cowboys have a better team.
Okay, you can say
the offensive line is better and all that stuff. But the when it comes to my biggest distinction, when it comes to entering the elite tier, for me, at the very least,
not elite.
For me,
he's elite to me.
Trevor Lawrence
is elite.
Trevor Lawrence ain't elite, bro.
Trevor Lawrence,
we thought.
Oh my god!
Yeah, happens in the playoffs. When it comes down to it, when it matters
to me, Riddell, it matters the most. No, that's nasty, Riddell. No. I'm not
gonna. You know why?
I understand that. It's Clemson,
let me defend Dak Prescott.
So then Deshaun Watson elite too.
Wait, let me get off my Cowboys fandom. Let me get off my Cowboys. This is not. Wait, stop.
We stand on business, Dad. We stand on business.
No. I'm standing on business because this is crazy. All right, Trevor Lawrence, you're talking about his season last year. Yes, it was good, but he had 4,200 yards and 27 touchdowns. You want to sit there and act like that Dak didn't have a season like that within his first 4 years? In 2019, he had 4,900 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 11 picks. The next season goes off for 4 games. And his turnover ratio wasn't great, but he was going off. He gets injured.
What's the biggest concern for Dak?
Wait. Stop. Because I want to talk about Trevor Lawrence.
I don't care about these regular season stats.
Wait. Let me talk about Trevor Lawrence.
Wait. No. That's so nasty.
Stop it. No. This is slander. No. Stop. Riddell, because you won't let me respond to my Trevor Lawrence take. You won't let me respond on my Trevor Lawrence.
He played well against the Chiefs one game.
You're giving him credit.
No. Stop.
Wait, J-Rob, stop.
You're
giving him credit for one playoff game. Stop it, Riddell. Stop.
And that was Dak's best playoff game ever.
Let me fucking talk. Wait, shush for 1 second. Wait, Trevor Lawrence. Wait. Trevor Lawrence had one half where, yes, he played better than Dak Prescott has in the playoffs ever. But Dak Prescott has never, Trevor Lawrence was horrible in the first half. He was horrible. And in the end, you want to sit here and talk about some games where Dak hasn't gotten it done, a.k.a. in the rookie season against Aaron Rodgers, where he did everything to come back in that game. And you want to give Trevor Lawrence for that credit against the Chiefs. Wait. You want to You want to give Trevor Lawrence for one game where he lost. You want to give Trevor Lawrence for one game he lost, and you don't want to give the same game that Dak Prescott had. You want to discredit him.
It's nasty that you're giving Trevor credit for the 4-pick comeback game, but you can't give Dak Prescott credit for outplaying Tom Brady and retiring him in a playoff game.
That team was bad.
That's nasty.
He beat the Seahawks in 2019. He played well against the Rams, and they got completely outclassed as a team. The Rams made the Super Bowl. Riddell, you give Trevor Lawrence credit.
I think we're overrating the playoff win. We overrating that.
And then he played well against the Chiefs.
He lost against the Chiefs. Dak Prescott played well. We give him blame for that.
Do you remember the Rams game? You remember the Rams when they played the Rams? You remember the Rams? Does anybody remember the Rams game?
Yeah, when they got completely outclassed as a team, and he was the only player on that team doing anything.
Chill, Riddell. You can't use measuring stick.
Amari Cooper was getting put up in the cage.
You can't use the playoffs as the measuring stick. Not right now.
And all he had was Michael Gallup.
Wait, what?
No. I'm not trying to go over the
J-Rob. Answer my question, J-Rob.
I got you, bro. I got you, baby boy. Let me know. What's the question? Don't violate.
No, when it comes to the Cowboys
in the playoffs,
do you trust Dak?
No.
Why would you
I
ask
trust
me that?
He had 3 picks and a half.
Wait.
How many picks did he have to have, bro?
Why are you asking me that? Why does that matter? Wait, Riddell. Hold on. You have unwavering confidence in Trevor Lawrence. You have unwavering confidence in Trevor Lawrence.
Down, Trevor's gonna perform in the offs. 10 toes down.
Oh, guys, I never said no. Guys, I'm not directing this at Riddell. Relax. You guys are acting like I said Dak Prescott played elite in the playoffs. I never said that. You guys are such losers because I'm a Cowboys fan. I said if you're gonna knock
Michael
Dak Prescott for playing well in the playoffs and losing, then be consistent for every quarterback. You freaking losers. Josh Allen, that's the last thing I'll say. Mic drop, Brandon Katz. You get cooked. And Brandon Katz, that's why you'll never come on this shit. Because you will never face me in the one-on-one. You don't want that.
And we need to set it up.
I want to make a bet. I really want to make a bet. Who is
going to perform better in the playoffs? This is crazy nasty, though. The question was a crazy setup question, yo.
Dude, Trevor Lawrence has been inconsistent all season long, even against teams who aren't as good. He's had 2 good games.
Who's going to perform better in the playoffs this year? Trevor Lawrence or Dak Prescott?
Dak Prescott's going to perform better.
You want to make a bet?
You'll see. Yeah. I'm making a bet. I'm not dropping a hundo.
I'm
not dropping a hundo.
I don't care enough about these two guys to drop a hundo.
I'll drop like 25-30 with you though on some respectful stuff though. On some respectful, I'll give you 30. If Dak Prescott
back to Mahomes, we down all the way, man. That's
all right. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But hey, $30. Trevor Lawrence in the playoffs. Dak Prescott in the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence is performing better.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Rydell might be right, bro.
Hey, wait, man. I do have a question.
Yo, I don't know who I trust more, Riddell.
Bro, let's not act like that after Dak Prescott.
That was a crazy
Dak Prescott post-injury completely was not the same player he is now. You look at Dak Prescott the last 2 years, when we're talking about pocket presence and speed, I have not seen Dak Prescott be this fast. He still doesn't have the agility. But he can legitimately get out the pocket like he never has before. He's consistently improving. He's not getting it.
He's not a better runner than
T-Law. Can we just get some?
No, he's not a better runner than T-Law, Manny. I'm not saying he's a better runner than T-Law.
Say your last point either.
Say your last point.
Yeah, but he makes better decisions. He makes way better decisions.
Mike, we got to slide. Dev, go. Say your last point, Dev, because we got to slide. Michael, we're going to continue this next week. We're going to continue this next week.
Guys.
You're good. Nah, we like it. Yo, I ain't going to lie. We got to get Cowboy up here now. These 2 tag team champs might go crazy for real. I ain't going to lie.
He's just a hating Giants fan.
He need to be on a Cowboy show. But I only think about the bet.
Yeah, Michael, you do got to pull up to the Cowboy show. You actually like the Cowboy show.
I do.
I have one question about your bet. This is for Rodell, Michael. About your bet. Because if the Cowboys be the 4th seed, the 5th seed, if they play the Falcons, depending who the Jaguars play.
If they lose, I'm giving them the 30.
No, let's say they both win, right? But
Brandon's a liar.
But Dak's playing a worse team. Does that affect the bet? Because he's
because it doesn't affect it necessarily. If they both so if they both lose in the next round, then I'll give him 30 because I'm gonna stand on business because he played a better team. Fact. But if Dak Prescott goes to the championship game, which I'm not saying he is, Riddell's giving me $30. Because T-Law ain't making the AFC championship.
All I'm saying, Riddell, I will say this though.
30 on that, Riddell.
Michael, you may not like this though. I will admit, I'm not willing to right now say. I'm not realized right now to say that Trevor Lawrence is definitively better than Dak Prescott. And I'm not willing to say who. And I'm not willing to say who I trust more. But what I will admit before we slide. If I had to pick one right now, I'll pick Trevor though. I ain't gonna lie. I'll pick Trevor.
Right, I don't care. Because no. But let me clarify. I'm just talking about people's like what they give credit.